Hello guys, what's up? I'm Surush Designer. Today we want to talk about how we can make 3D models with these faces and edges. The first tool we need for 3D modeling is the push and pull, or we call it extruding. So I click on the extrude, and extrude only work on the faces, not edges. So remember that point. For example, this rectangle, I want to make the height of it to the 1 meter. So I left click on it and I move my mouse on the pad. So you can see we can change the height of this 3D model to every type of height we want. For example, I want this height to the 1 meter. I press 1 on my keyboard and I press enter. Now we have a cube with 1 meter to 1 meter sides, edges, and faces. So we have this rectangle. I want to extrude the height of it to the 2 meter. So I click on it, left click on it, and at the left of button on screen, I can type 2 on my keyboard on the distance and I press enter. Now we have some rectangular cube with a 2 meter of height. We have circle in here. I can select extrude option, and I want the height of it lower than 1 meter, for example about 50 centimeter. So I wrote 0.5 meter, it means that 50 centimeter, and I press enter. Another point is that extrude option doesn't work on the curved edges and can't push or pull smooth surfaces. So we have some type of rectangles here. For example, I want to set this rectangle height with this cube. At this type of option, I don't type anything. I just left click on the faces and I change my mouse position to this endpoint. Now this cube with this cube are the same heights. And for this session, I think it's enough. About the polygons, we can set this again. For example, I want to make this 8-side polygon to the some type of 3D shape with 7 meter of height. So I click on it and I type 7 on my keyboard and I press enter. And this polygon, some type of pentagon, I want to draw the height of it about 3 meter or 3.6 meter. I type 3.6 and I press enter, like that. Very simple and easy. We can create these type of shapes and it's really make our job easier. So I press Ctrl S like this. I save my file. Another option we have is the rotation. So before rotation, I want to talk about how we can create groups. So I want to select all of these cube edges, faces, and all of the things related to it. So I triple click on it very fast and easy like this, and I right click on it. Option we call the make group is appearing this place. I click on the make group. Now we have the one special group in here that called cube. So I want to move this cube, make far of these objects. I click on the move option. I go to the origin in the group. I press left click like that. Now I can change my coordinate of cube about word units, like this in the blue direction, red direction, or green direction. For example, I want to make it higher than others in the blue direction, and I want to change it in the blue direction for an 4 meter. So at the left of the button of my screen, you can see the distance. and every place you left click your object set in there, but I don't need them. If you do this job, only thing you do is Ctrl Z to undo your work. I come to the origin, left click on it, and I type 4 on my keyboard and I press enter. Very simple and easy, like this. And now we can do lots of change on our models. For example, I just want to keep this and delete all of this. Very simple and easy. I choose all of these objects like that. Left click plus drag. Hold the left click and draw this window. And I hold shift and I select this cube. So this cube is deselected from the others and I press delete. So I press move. I want to set back this cube to the origin point. I left click on the one endpoint and I change it to the origin position like this. So what we can do with this cube, if you want to change and exit from the group mode, you can click right click on it and press explode option. So now we have the same model in the past. And what happens if we play with edges and faces? So I select this face and I want to move this face at the red direction. What will happen? I press move, I select this endpoint, and now you can see this another type of extrude in the 3D models. For example, I want to move it in the red direction for the 1 meter. I press 1 on my keyboard and I press enter like that. And what happens if you move this face at the blue direction? Alright, every place you want you can select. For example, this midpoint, I left click on it, and now you can see if I change the movement at the blue direction, we have these type of shapes. For example, I want to change the direction in the blue direction for 1 meter. I type 1 on my keyboard and I press enter like this, and we create these type of shapes, and we can do this job on the edges. So I select edge, I click on the move option, and I want to move this edge at the green direction. So I left click on it, and if you can see, we can't do it. Why? Because in the SketchUp, not like 3D Studio Max, we can't draw some type of special shapes. So you only can move this edge at the at the red direction or at the blue direction like that. For example, at the blue direction, I change this distance to the 2 meter like that, and now we create these type of shapes. Another option we have is the called offset option. If you want to create some type of outlines or window frames, you can use offset. Offset is really useful in SketchUp modeling process. So offset only work for faces and edges, both of them, but I will tell you when. So I select offset, I come to the face and left click on it like that. Do not hold left click because make your model very bad. And for example, I want window with some 10 centimeter frame. I want to type 0.1 meter and I press enter like that. So you can see we make this face to the two faces like that, inner face and outer face. Outer face is our window frame and inner face is our window. So I choose extrude option. I want to make this face a little bit back than the others. So I left click on it and for example I type 0.02 and I press enter. Something like that we created. I press Ctrl S to save the file. So this is some type of works we can do with movement tool, extrude tool, and offset tool. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. We need your support, and goodbye.